So this Sunday, February 5th, we have a full moon in the sign of sidereal Cancer. So as always, please look at your sidereal birth chart when you look at my predictions. But like I always say, the full moons are about completion. They're about letting go of a cycle that began with the new moon 6 months prior. So the last time during the new moon in Cancer, around August, we had Saturn right opposite of it. This is the first full moon in Cancer in 3 years where we don't have Saturn influencing it. So there's going to be, so the letting go, because during the full moons really it's a time of letting go. It's not new, nothing to do with new beginnings. Is the closure of the manifestation and the cycle that began 6 months prior during the new moon. So this time we'll be able to end this cycle and let go, and it'll feel a lot easier with less obstacles because we don't have the restriction and the binding aspect of Saturn. So what does this full moon mean for all the rising and moon signs? Let's get started. And moons. This is sidereal. So the full moon is happening in your fourth house of home. Since August, you have been creating plans or starting something, or you could have started something regarding your home life. This could have meant a move that you were trying to manifest. This could have meant some kind of remodeling, or just you being more nurturing at home or feeling more comfortable within your own sense of self. And this was due to career. So maybe you were staying at home more, and career, you were focusing more on your home life and less on your career life. So now there's an ending to that with this full moon. So there's a completion of that energy. Whatever needed to happen in the last 6 months should have already happened. If it hasn't, there's a possibility for it to happen during the full moon. Otherwise, this is a closure of that chapter, because now you're going to begin focusing more on your career. So there's a stronger pull towards your career and a closure within your home life. Saturn is in your 11th house, so at this time you can see some kind of fruitful endeavor happening for you within your career, something you have been waiting for the past 3 years of hard work that you've had to endure in your career life. But there's definitely, maybe you're letting go of an aspect of your comfort, your home life, in order to focus now more on your career life. Off to the next sign, which is Taurus. Taurus, rising and moon, sidereal. This energy of the full moon and energy of completion is happening over your third house of your willpower, your strength, courage, how you take action in the world, as well as your communication. So it's opposing your ninth house where the sun is sitting. So this is a time when you are feeling the sense of completion and the sense of wanting to feel heard by the outside world, especially as it pertains to your beliefs. You're wanting to speak about your beliefs. You're no longer feeling restricted around this, because this is something that you have been wanting to do for the past 3 years. But Saturn there in your ninth house was limiting your ability to speak up, your ability to communicate, your courage to get things done in your everyday life. So right now you're completing that cycle. You're speaking up, you're speaking your truth, you're communicating, your courage is also something that you're working on. So you're feeling unstoppable. You're feeling like, okay, all of these things happened. There was so much restriction, and now I'm able to this is what I need to do to be more courageous in my everyday life, and speak my truth in regards to what I believe and what I think is righteous for myself and for my life. Off to the next sign, which is Leo. Gemini, rising and moons, sidereal. So this full moon is happening in your second house of stability. The last 3 years, you have been feeling a lot of instability, where you went through a lot of transformation, a lot of major, you've had to let go of a lot of things in your life. It was a very transformative last 3 years that could have brought a lot of pain in your life and a lot of letting go of attachment. So this full moon is a culmination to all of that. You're feeling like, okay, now I understand what I need in my life in order to feel secure. You're not going to accept anything less than this, because this is something that you have been working on for the past 6 months, where you are working on your values, what you value. What do you value yourself? Do you value your family? Do you value your stability, your finances? All of these things are coming up for you to really acknowledge them, and for you to close the chapter of instability that you have been experiencing the past 3 years. So now you have no limitations and nothing really holding you back from you feeling more stable in yourself, in your family, and in the life around you. This is also a good time when you can, maybe some of you might have started a new job that has brought more stability within your life, or maybe you could have, you are nourishing yourself in order to feel more stable within yourself. Off to the next sign, which is Leo. Your rising sun moon. So this moon is happening over your very first house. So it's all about you. It's all about gaining the clarity of everything that you experienced the past 3 years in your partnerships and your entire life, how you relate to others. This is a chapter that you're closing. And this chapter began with you putting yourself first. And it could have began back in August, where you decided to, okay, this is what I need to do to work on myself, to work on my sense of self, to work on my self-esteem, and on nourishing my emotional self. This is a moon in Cancer in its own sign. So this is all about nourishing yourself, nourishing your relationships. If you started a relationship, this can feel like stability within that relationship, and really gaining some clarity as to what you need to do to feel stable without any limitations, because you no longer have Saturn in your 7th house causing opposition, causing limitations, causing delays. Now it's like you're moving forward, and you know exactly what you need in order to feel seen, in order to feel heard, in order to feel confident. And now the cycle has ended. So you've closed this cycle. You've reached the peak of the mountain, per se, because you've been working on your confidence since August. You have set boundaries since August. Saturn is no longer in your 7th house. There's no more lessons in relationships. So now it's all about you. So letting go of anything that hasn't served you, and really acknowledging what you needed to do, or what you need to do moving forward to put yourself first. Off to the next sign, that's Leo. And moons. This full moon is happening in your 12th house of mental health, of emotional well-being. Opposite the sun in your 6th house of health, wellness, daily routine. So this is an energy of culmination around your fears, around your anxieties, around your mental abilities that have really been unfolding since August. So you're now realizing what it is that you need to do mentally for yourself, to care for yourself, to nourish yourself, in order to feel more stable. In order to feel more stable within your health, within your work, within your routine, and within your own sense of inner peace. So it can be a little bit of a disturbing mentally type of period with the full moon in the 12th house, because the full moons are never easy, because it's like you're closing off a chapter, and the 12th house is never an easy house. So you could be having insomnia, or just having very vivid dreams at this time, but it is a very revealing time. Full moons are all about revealing to you something that you need to do to change, to feel comfortable within yourself, to nourish yourself. Looking at your 6th house, this could be relating to your you've had Saturn in your 6th house for 3 years. So this is the first full moon in Cancer where you don't have Saturn. They're limiting you and restricting your mental health, restricting your physical health, restricting your everyday routine. So this is a forward moving type of energy, and really gaining clarity as to what you need to do mentally, what you need to focus on mentally in order to feel happier and healthier physically and mentally. So this is a time to really focus on your mental health and nourish your mental health and take care of yourself. It's a good time to do some self-care, especially on the day of the full moon, around the full moon. So yeah, do some self-care and nourish yourself, and everything will be okay. Up to the next sign, which is Virgo. Rising and moons, this full moon culmination is happening in your 11th house of friendships, of gain. So this is for, you're one of those signs that can see some kind of manifestation unfold for you around the full moon. If you haven't seen it yet, could have already happened, but this was something that you've been wanting since August, but you felt restricted prior to that. Could be relating to your creativity, to your education, can be relating to your friendships or just gains in terms of relationships. You've had Saturn in your 5th house of relationships, of romance, restricting you for the past 3 years. So this full moon is ending a cycle that felt very restrictive. So a lot of you can even find that you find yourself in a relationship, or if you were in a relationship, if you got into a relationship, then maybe you just feel like you're finally settled, or like this is exactly what you needed. Or you can also feel like you know now what you need out of your friendships, out of your connections, what you need out of them in order to achieve what it is that you want. Just be careful with the manipulation in your relationships and manipulation in your friendships at this time. Other than that, this can be a very revealing time in terms of your friendships, and in terms of your, even I would say in terms of your relationship with your mother, or women in general. But other than that, 11th house is really good when it comes to full moons, because it completes a manifestation for you that you've had since 6 months prior. There's nothing limiting it because prior to now, you had Saturn in the 5th house that was limiting your manifestations. Now they're not being limited anymore. Also, your creativity can be at an all-time high at this time. You can receive a lot of insights, or just feel like you want to put yourself out there. You want to go out with friends. You want to spend more time with friends, or even just get clarity around your friendships. Who's right for you, who isn't. Off to the next sign, which is Libra. Libra rising and moons, this full moon is happening over your 10th house, which is bringing to you some kind of culmination in terms of your career life, your outer image. There's something at work or in your career that you have been trying to implement a change in this area since August, and now this energy is finally feeling like you're closing that chapter. You can be also moving homes, or you moved homes and now you're closing a chapter in your career. Maybe some of you started a new job, or you're starting a new job, or you're leaving a job, but whatever the case may be, there's something with your reputation and some kind of career life manifestation that you've had since August that prior to now could have been delayed for you, or was stressing you out because of your home life situation. But now it almost feels like, okay, I have this thing, or I'm ready to let go of these whatever was keeping me stuck, whatever was keeping me stagnant, or whatever was keeping me unhappy at home, so that I can have a better career life. You might be moving, like I said, or you just may be settling after all the changes that you have gone through in the past 3 years. Off to the next sign, which is Scorpio. Your rising and moons, this full moon energy is happening in your 9th house, looking over your 3rd house. So this combination of energy is happening in your house of beliefs. So there's some kind of belief system, or there's some kind of opinion, or the way that you view the world that you're letting go of. There's something that you have been struggling with in terms of your courage for the past 3 years, which you have been also changing since August. So now this is a culmination of energy in terms of this belief that you had that you could have felt stagnant about in the past 3 years. But now that Saturn has left your 3rd house, now you feel like you have the ability or the courage to take action in your life in terms of what you believe. So if you believe that it's right to give back to the poor, now you have nothing that's holding you back from giving back to the poor, if that makes sense. So you're closing off a chapter. Your belief systems have completely been belief systems around every area of your life have shifted in the past 3 years, and now you have the courage to sort of speak up on them, to sort of say, I've come to the conclusion that this is what I think, this is what I believe, and now I'm ready to take action towards those things that I believe are true to me and true to myself. So this could be a closing off of a chapter with your happiness, your inner emotional self, and being able to speak your truth and to take action towards your truth and your highest wishes in life. Off to the next sign, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising and moons. This full moon is happening over your 8th house, which can be a little bit difficult type of energy because the 8th house does deal with loss. It deals with gains, but also sudden losses. It deals with our not our mental health, but trauma, secrets. This can be a very revealing time for you in terms of you having to come to terms with how you find security in the world around you. There's a chapter ending for you. You're seeing things a lot more clearly, and whatever doesn't make you feel secure, you're kind of like letting go of that. So this could be a time when secrets are revealed to you, when full moons are always about revelations. There's always some kind of revelation that happens around the full moon time because it's the ending of a chapter that began 6 months prior. But especially when it's transiting your 8th house, this revelation usually comes in the form of secrets or things that were not privy to you prior, and now they become hard to overlook. So it's like you can no longer overlook this thing, and now, or it can also mean like if you were waiting for some kind of settlement, this could be a time when it comes to you, some kind of sudden money that comes to you they were expecting for some time. This can come to you from family. Maybe you weren't expecting it, or maybe you were expecting it for a while, and now finally you're able to close that chapter because it comes to you. This could be around resources, around your own sense of stability, family, or just feeling more or letting go of whatever was tormenting you before, or whatever secrets you could have uncovered since August, and now you're kind of feeling more at peace. But the full moon energies are never easy because it's like hits you like it's like a chapter that's ending and you feel it, and so it's never an easy type of energy, but it's also an energy that finalizes things, so you're able to now move forward afterwards. Off to the next sign, which is Capricorn. Rising and moons, this full moon energy is happening in your 7th house. So for the last 3 years, you had Saturn in your 1st house, so it was kind of like making you feel uneasy, or putting a lot of pressure upon you in your relationships, or making you feel a lot more needing to be a lot more responsible in your relationships. Now it's a time when you're feeling when you're closing a chapter within that, where you were feeling restricted in your relationships before, unable to take on the next steps or move forward in different things. This is a time when you're closing a chapter, and this chapter is relating, doesn't mean that you're going to go through a breakup, it just means that there's a chapter that's ending. So relationships go through different struggles, different chapters. This is one of those. Maybe you're just closing a chapter in your relationship that began in August. There's no Saturn kind of like making you delaying anything. So this chapter is now able to smoothly close with the full moon. For some, it could mean finally putting an end to a relationship, but that's not always the case. It can just mean that you're ending a chapter, you're ending or closing off something, releasing something in your partnerships. And it's not just about relationships. It can be about what it is that you think you need out of your partnerships, or what it is that you need out of your relationship with the outside world, anything outside of yourself. It could be your business partnerships, your other people. So you're releasing or closing a chapter in that. It could come in as some kind of aha moment as to what you need in your partnerships, or it can even come into material life, as in the form of you letting go of friends, relationships, or just closing off certain behaviors in these areas. Off to the next sign, which is Aquarius. Aquarius rising and moons, this full moon energy is happening in your 6th house. So there's something around your sense of security within yourself or your stability in terms of your everyday life, your work, that you're closing off. So this chapter began in August. Maybe you were working on your health, becoming more conscious of your health, or finding a new routine in your life, and now you're sort of closing that chapter. This could be relating to work. Maybe you're finishing off a project in work that was giving you a headache for the past few months, and now you're finally closing that chapter. You're done with this project, or maybe even finding a new job, finding a new routine. You finally found it, or now you're feeling a lot less mentally heavy, because the last 3 years you had Saturn there in your 12th house, which is making you feel very heavy internally, very anxious at all times, bringing a lot of hardships within your mental health. So maybe now you're able to sleep better, and you're feeling less anxious. And so this is making your health better. So you're feeling healthier, and now you're closing a chapter. Of course, full moons are never super easy when it comes to our internal self, because it's a chapter that's ending, and change is never easy. However, it kind of closes that chapter, and now you're able to move forward, feeling a lot more healthier, feeling less stressed, feeling less anxious, having less sleeping more perhaps as well, and with a better routine, or with better health, or just like at least you're gaining clarity as to what it is that you need to do with your health. Maybe there was something in your health that you were working on the last 6 months, and now you're feeling like, okay, now I know what to do moving forward to get my health in check. And that's where this is going on, where now you have the tools or the knowledge. There's a revelation that happens, and now you have the tools to move forward in life with the necessary knowledge to be able to get healthier. Off to the last sign. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Which is Pisces. Pisces rising and moons. This full moon is happening in your 5th house. 5th house deals with your creative side, your romantic side, your relationships. So this is full moon energies are all about revelations, completions, closing off of a chapter. So this is happening in your 5th house of relationships. So there could be some kind of revelation or new chapter that you begin in your romantic partnerships, or with your loved ones, or in your relationships, even your friendships. So for the past 3 years, you had Saturn in your 11th house, which was delaying your ability to, or just putting or slowing down your ability to find happiness within your connections with others, within your partnerships. Maybe you created really strong bonds with people, but there was also delays in that. There was also lack of intimacy, or lack of love, because Saturn was overlooking your 5th house. So there wasn't a lot of romance or love. There was just duty and responsibilities. Now with this full moon, it's closing off an energy that began since August, beginning of August, really late July, in regards to your more romantic and more and relationships with your loved ones. So now things are moving forward a lot easier now that Saturn is not there, and you're closing off a chapter in this area. This could mean meeting, realizing what it is that you want out of your romantic relationships or out of your friendships, wanting to go out more, wanting to spend more time with friends, or wanting to be more creative, wanting more love in your life, wanting more nurturing in your life. Maybe this could mean that. This can also mean like ending a chapter in your relationships. Or this could even mean breakups for some. Hardly means this. It's just like a new beginning. I mean, an end to a chapter, not a new beginning, but an end to a chapter. And this can also mean you just gaining clarity as to what it is that you want out of your relationships. And yeah, this is it. This is the first full moon in 3 years where Saturn is not the first full moon in Cancer, where Saturn is not restricting it and opposing it, where we've had Saturn in Capricorn for the last 3 years opposing the sign of Cancer. So that was a little bit harsh, and this full moon kind of like culminates that energy completely. So it can feel a little bit heavy because this chapter is ending from the past 3 years, but at the same time, it's a lot of releasing that's happening in order for us to now move forward. And I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.